Hey everybody, Sarah here. So, it's Tuesday the 10th. Um, I was gonna wait until Thursday to make this video, but I thought, um, I'll make it now. Um, there is three things I want to talk about. First one, this I was gonna actually make a video about on Friday, but then I decided not to. Um, yeah, there was a news on Friday about Paul Catamol from S Club 7. Still seems weird actually going to S Club 7 now. Um, yeah, that he passed away, and um, they didn't say a reason, and there hasn't been any, like update about that. But yeah, I think that took a lot of people by surprise, especially as they were, and I think still are, going on tour later in the year. Um, Obviously, it was supposed to be a big, happy party kind of thing, but now it's going to be more of a tribute to him. Obviously, it's going to be a whole like thing for the fans, but it's going to be a tribute to him as well, to honor him as well. Um, yeah, but it took me by surprise, and it was making me think. I was like, you got all these bands from like years ago who are probably still around now. Like you got like the Rolling Stones. Yeah, they lost a member last year, year before. I think it was last year. Um, I would say the Bee Gees, but like two out of three of those aren't even with us anymore. Um, but you see what I mean? Like all these, the Who, the who else was around then? I'm trying to think. All the bands that were around in the 60s and 70s, and like probably in their 80s by now, some of them, and they're still going, or have recently stopped performing or whatever. I don't know. Elton John, Cliff Richard. You see what I mean? It's like all still around. But the first band that popped into my head was the Rolling Stones. And then I was thinking, all these bands that I didn't grow up with, who are still around now, or the members that are still alive now. Like I said, not including the Bee Gees because there's only Barry left. But yeah, and I was thinking, I think I actually posted on Twitter as well, was what on earth is going on with like my childhood bands? Because then you've got like not just bands, artists. Because I mean, what did I think. Oh, no, I saw a picture of, I think, I can't remember how many bands it was. Yeah, somebody posted a picture of, it was like an edit thing they done. I think it was a picture of four bands, and it was Boyzone, hang on, Boyzone, Girls Aloud, um, The Wanted, and S Club 7. And I knew by seeing that it was like those bands had all lost a member. Um, and to be fair, the first one did like choke me up. Um, yeah. Then I was thinking about it because the first one I was thinking of was Boyzone. So when I saw a picture of Boyzone, obviously I was thinking Stephen Gately. And then I was thinking, I thought, all right, I, well, the first concert I went to was Boyzone. So, I mean, I went to see Boyzone like in the 2010, 2010s, between 2010 and 2019. But obviously that was just with the four of them. Thankfully, the first time I went to see Boyzone, I was actually in the 90s when Boyzone were a five-piece, when Stephen Gately was still with them. So I'm grateful that I actually saw them back then. Yeah, so it just made me think. I thought 2009 we lost Stephen Gately. Wasn't such a big fan. I was a fan, but I wasn't like a big fan. I didn't go to the concerts and buy all the music or whatever of Girls Aloud. And they lost Sarah. Then there was actually one I'm still like getting my head around now. See, I'm still getting my head. I'm not so much getting my head around Stephen Gately because that was 14 years ago. Hang on, was it 2009 or 2010? No, it was 2000. It was it was 2009 because it was 10 years later that Boyzone done the final thing. Yeah, I doubted myself then. Yeah, that was like quite a while back. But like the other one that came to mind, even though it's not a band, it's a solo singer, was Darius. That was, I mean, what was that? That was July? I think it was July. It was before his birthday. No, hang on, his birthday's in August. I think it was July though. Hang on. Okay. Oh, I didn't realise that was the date. I know it wasn't on before his birthday, but I did not realise that was the date. He was born on 19th of August, passed away on the 11th of August, which is my dad's birthday. I didn't realise. Oh, I think it was July. I was thinking. I can't remember knowing about it before my birthday. My birthday's on the 2nd of August. Yeah. So just even looking at those pictures is, can't believe it. Um, yeah. So it was Darius. And I went to see Darius in concert. I don't know. I mean, I think it was. I want to say it was just the once, but it could be more than once. I can't remember, but I know I've seen him in concert. And then there was I never seen S Club 7 live. No, yeah, talking about Darius as well. Um, there was once on the radio station's not around anymore, but the ones that had the breakfast show, whatever year it was, 2002, they had like a column in the local newspaper, and they were going on about how Darius was going to be on in the studios doing an interview and promoting his thing or whatever. Like if you want, I can't remember what they said about if you want to send an email. Um, I don't think they did there, but I just remember them mentioning it, and it was actually so funny. Is that I had just written an email um about I can't even remember what I said in the email now. I can't even find any clips online from it. They were all over the internet years ago, and I can't even find it. But yeah, I remember writing this email and sending it, and it's hilarious because I sent it, and I think I must have sent it just as on the radio, the one that would be interviewing him like whenever, or was it the? Or did I send? I can't, no, I must have sent it like in advance. But yeah, I sent this email and it must just come out with like an advert or like all the adverts and whatever, all the news. And then this DJ was saying we just had an email in for Darius. Um, this you just couldn't have thought, hang on, that can't be me. I think I confidently mentioned my name. And then I was like, yeah, let's just wait and see if they ask him. I can't remember if there was a question or whatever, but I was like, yeah, but will they actually ask him? And I remember recording the actual interview when it was on. Um, I don't even know where that tape is. It was on tape, but I mean, I did see um the audio of it online somewhere years ago. Like I said, I was recording this interview, and they said, Darren said blah blah blah. I talked to him, and I said, all right, we'll start with this email. I came in literally seconds after I announced you were going to be here, and I remember them talking. Oh my god, he actually like. I think he mentioned my mum's name, and he mentioned and it's like when I heard that he passed away, that was one of the first things that came to mind. It was like that email I sent in, and it was oh god, yeah. Um, yeah. Whew. Anyway, I'm just thinking, I got a Darius book, and I don't know why am I thinking I had it autographed. I don't think I actually met him. I remember going to a Oh, I remember getting so upset. We have these Christmas light switch-ons, and in Cardiff, he was turning the lights on, and there was so much traffic. By the time we got there, he'd already performed, or he was performing, but you couldn't see it because there was so many people in the crowd. Um, yeah, so I was so upset by that, and I was like, can't believe he didn't get you early enough. To my mum, I remember saying that. I mean, thankfully we went to see him in concert, probably the same year. No, it wouldn't be the same year, the following year. But yeah, um, yeah, and then we got the news about Paul. Like I said, I've never seen S Club 7 in concert, but oh my god, I was a big fan of Miami 7, LA 7, um, what was the other one? It was four. It was 4 seasons. Hang on, S Club 7 drama. I don't want some drama as in. There was definitely four. I know there was Miami 7. There was. I don't know. Miami 7. I remember that. I remember watching that. Um, then there was a few like in between. Um, I just got a list of the programs rather than trying to look at the. Oh yeah, Miami 7. There was LA 7, which I said. No, Hollywood 7. I was thinking it was something else, but it was Hollywood 7, which was last. No, it wasn't. It was Los Angeles. And then there was Viva Rest Club. I want to say there was Viva Rest Club, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, he was in. I thought he'd left before Viva Rest Club, but he was in it for 4 episodes. I don't know how many episodes there was of it. Um, yeah, and then there was there was a few films. I loved those. I had the albums. I probably still got the albums here somewhere. Everybody knows Reach. And what was weird is I put the music channel on the other day, on Friday, and it was playing 90s songs. Oh, was it playing 90s songs? I can't remember if it was playing 90s songs now. But there was something. Um, One song had just finished. I can't remember what song that was. And I thought, what's going to be next? Because it could have been. I mean, you think there's a whole 10 years of the 90s. And I was like, oh, what's going to be next? Before the music even started, I recognised the video. It was "Bring It All Back" by S Club 7. It's going to be S Club now. Stop saying that. And what was weird is watching that, because I remember "Bring It All Back" was filmed in Miami, and I've recently come back from Miami. So that was weird. I don't know what part of it was filmed. It looked like South Beach, but I don't know. But yeah, that was weird. That I was like, oh, what's supposed to be on next? And it just happened to be S Club 7. And it wasn't like a tribute thing to him or anything. It just happened to be on. Yeah, and the other thing is like, yeah, they were S Club 7. Then they were S Club when he left the band. And then they were back to S Club 7 again. And now obviously it's going to be S Club again. But it's just going to be weird because before he had just left the band. Now he's not around. So yeah. All right. Not talking about it anymore. The second thing is Tottenham finally won the game. Finally. Um, I wasn't. I was at this. I put the radio on the channel, the station on the radio in the car, because I didn't have any other way of finding out what the score was, and they just happened to say it was 1-0 to Tottenham. I had no idea who scored the goal until I got back, and it said Son. So I was like, I knew it was going to be Kane or Son, and it was Son. So yeah. So actually, no. By the time I got back, it was 1-1, and I was like, oh, for blimmin' hell, win the game. And then I don't know if no, I wasn't. I didn't listen to it then. I was just like keeping an eye on the score, and then I saw it said 2-1, and it was. I had to laugh because when I saw he scored the second goal, I was like, oh, come on, because it was the man himself, Harry Kane. So it was like Son and Kane. Come on, they're doing a double act again. Yeah, so I'm so happy about that. And also on a Saturday, it was a book fair, not book fair, yeah, book fair I suppose, that they do every year for charity. I only get quite a few books, but I didn't find that many. It wasn't even that many people there when we went, but they could have all gone on the Friday, I suppose. So, actually, I got 3 books there, and then I got 2 books I got there, which I bought on Amazon. Um, so the first one, actually, this is the first one I picked up. Was is it the War Dog? No, it is just War Dog. I think it's about someone, an airman, who hid a tiny German Shepherd, whom he named Ant, in his flying jacket as he made his escape. I'm not going to read the whole thing on that. Oh, I just realised about Bomber Command. That was something to do with what Robin Hood was raising money for. Yeah, so that sounded interesting. So I'm going to read that at some point. The other one was Me Before You, which I thought I recognised the name, and then I realised it was a film, or is a film, which I don't think I've seen. So I got to read that, and I'll watch the film if it's on at any point. And I normally look over by where the kids' books are, because they don't have Doctor Who books. Didn't see any Doctor Who books. But then a bit further over is where they have like the Lord of the Rings kind of stuff, and uh, what's the other thing I'm thinking of? Lord of the Rings. Oh my god, what's the thing with Jennifer Lawrence in it? Hunger Games, um, Game of Thrones, and those kind of things. Um, I was, and I mean, I know you're probably thinking, oh, like the fantasy things. Yeah, fantasy things, but not just all fantasy things. Because I found a book there that I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to buy that. Um, yeah. So I wasn't looking for any Game of. I was looking for one Game of Thrones one. Although technically, could it be called Game of Thrones? Because I bought the Game of Thrones things, like the box set of books. So I was like, I don't need any Game of Thrones one. But I know there was one that was bought out for House of the Dragon, which I don't know if it was bought. Well, it was obviously bought out at some point. So yeah, I was looking for that, but that wasn't there. I think there was one Game of Thrones one there, but obviously like I didn't need it. And I was thinking, oh, I'm not gonna bother looking around here. And then a name or a title jumped out at me. I mean, can you technically say that this or these can jump out at you when they're not supposed to? They're supposed to be like, well, spooks. That's what I mean. Can they literally jump out at you if they're like supposed to be undercover? And alright, the one thing that disappoints me is like, you look at the front of there. There's Zara. Hang on. I don't know. I thought they had the names at the bottom, but they don't. There's, hang on, wrong side. There's Zav. There's um Roz. Oh, yeah, look, it looks different on there. Hang on. Yeah. Zav, Roz, Joe, Adam, and Harry. I was just thinking, where is Ruth? And I thinking, oh, do I buy that because there's no Tom? But oh, they got a decent picture on here. I did look on the back, and it mentioned Harry Pierce, Adam Carter, Roz Myers, um, Zafar Yonis, if that's how you pronounce his name, Joe Portman, Malcolm Wynne Jones, Ruth Evershed, Tom Quinn, Zoe Reynolds, and Danny Hunter. And the fact they got Tom Quinn and Zoe Reynolds next to each other on it when they're like married in real life. Yeah. And then I was like, gorgeous picture of Tom Quinn. Oh, Matthew McFadden. Yeah, so I'm so happy I managed to find that. Well, not that I managed to find it because I didn't know it was going to be there, but that I saw it, so I got it. Sorry, my nose keeps running. And then we come to these two books. All right, I went there looking. I wasn't sure what books were going to be there, but I was thinking if there's a book by or about either of these two people, I would get them, and there wasn't. So I was like, all right, I'll have to order them online. And I just love these two people. And thankfully, whenever the older one is on telly, the younger one is pretty much in a clip with him or being interviewed with him or talking alongside him or at the same thing as him. These two. I don't know what one to start with. No, let's start with Gareth. Yeah, so I was watching a video a while back. I think it was before the Euros. I was watching it recently, but it was from a while back. And he gave at the end of it, he gave him a book of his. I don't know which book it was, or it might have been this one. I'll have to look back. But, yeah, and I've become a big fan of Gareth Southgate since then. And oh, I saying this. See what I mean? There's actually two pictures here of what I was thinking. I'll find one. Hang on. Are there any pictures? Yeah. Oh, hang on. What was that? Yeah. Look at those two. Not those two. Those. Harry and Gareth, the hug. Like I said, Gareth and Harry doing a press conference. Like I said, when you see one, the other one's there normally. Yeah, so that's that book. And then my favourite number 9, Harry Kane. I mean, these aren't like autobiographies or anything. They're about them, but I mean, as far as I know, Harry Kane hasn't put an autobiography out yet. Yeah, so I just couldn't resist it. I have never been a fan of us in England manager before. Not even in England, not even a club manager, come to think of it. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of. No, I wasn't a big fan. I can't say I was a huge fan, as in watching everything that Jose Mourinho was in. But was in what things like when he's been interviewed and whatever. But if I was gonna like read a story, read an article in the paper about a club manager, it would be Jose Mourinho. It wouldn't have been Alex Ferguson. It wouldn't have been I can't even think of any others. It wouldn't have been Conte. I know that for sure. Who else was there? I can't even think of any football managers now, besides the obvious ones. And then when it comes to England managers, I mean, the earliest I can remember when it comes to football, when I watch football, I know Terry Venables was one. I think Terry Venables might have been when Gareth Southgate was playing. I think. But from when I remember watching the football, like when the World Cup when Beckham got sent off and he got the red card, I think that is the earliest when I remember. I might have seen the 96 one without realising. I would have been like 9 years old. So maybe I did see that. Maybe I did watch that game and not realise. But yeah, I remember like obviously Beckham getting sent off and Glenn Hoddle was the coach then, or the manager coach, whatever. I get confused what they call them. Are they managers or coaches? I don't know. Because I think they're managers. They call them managers, and then I think we'll come to saying coach. And I'm like, all right. Yeah. So I remember Glenn Hoddle. Wasn't a big fan of him. There was who else was there? But I can't even think. Hang on. England. Managers. Right. Can we actually? Oh, chronological order. Yeah, that'd be right. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I did see Terry Venables. Oh no, hang on. I'm confused. Yeah, Terry Venables. I was getting confused with him and Kevin Keefer for some reason. Yeah, Terry Venables was 94 to 96. So that would have been around the time Gareth Southgate was playing, yeah. Glenn Hoddle was 96 to 99. So I remember Glenn Hoddle. Howard Wilkinson, I don't even know a clue who he is. Oh, hang on, was that only 2 games? I don't know why he's got P as in played. He was a manager. And he probably did play, but yeah, Howard Wilkinson. It said 99 and 2000, and it's got 2, so I'm guessing that was 2 games. Then there was Kevin Keegan, 99 to 2000. That was 18 games. I remember Kevin Keegan. Peter Taylor, 2000 to 2001. That was 1 game. I'm guessing that was 1 game. Sven-Göran Eriksson. Everybody remembers Sven-Göran Eriksson. That was 2001 to 2006. That was 5 years. 67 games. Steve McLaren, 2006 2007, 18 games. Fabio Capello, 42 games. That was 2008 2011. He didn't last long. Not that long. Stuart Pearce was 1 game, 2012. Roy Hodgson, 2012 2016, 56 games. I think that was when they got knocked out in the Euros. In 2016, obviously. How things change in a matter of years. Considering I think Harry Kane was playing then for England. Sam Allardyce, 2016, 1 game. 83 games. 2016 till present day, Gareth Southgate. So, like I said, I remember out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Out of 11 coaches England had since I remember one. Hang on. That's 11. I remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. Like some of them are only like stand-in ones. I think Gareth Southgate did stand in for a couple of games, and then he signed the thing to be the actual permanent one. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So like I said, he's the only manager I've actually bothered to watch anything else, and I didn't really watch England games out. I remember watching the World Cup in 2018, but I really didn't. I wasn't really like a big football fan then. Wasn't watching all the games then at that point, like the ones leading up to things, like the leading up to Euros or whatever. And I don't know, I don't know what it was about the Euros. I don't know why. I just like when I was watching the Euros, or must be stuff leading up to it, unless it was the first few games of the Euros. I can't remember, like the group games. But I remember watching it and seeing this blonde number 9. I'm thinking, who who is he? Who is he? Can you imagine I was having having an orange juice in a pub. Watching the game and thinking, who is he? And then people be like, you mean the captain of the England team? I don't, yeah, I was like, I never really, I cheered of Harry Kane. I just didn't realise how good looking he is. I know some people might say no, he's not. And I'm pissed off with the amount of people I've been, oh, you can't talk properly, you can't understand him. I can understand him. You know, I read him talk on the telly. I can understand everything that comes out of his mouth. So I didn't have a clue what people are going on about. And say, oh, I can't understand what he says. He doesn't talk properly. And that's coming from someone who's lived in Wales for the past 35 years. So yeah. Some of these books I don't even know what clue where to start. I think I'm gonna start with Gareth, then Harry, then Spooks, and then the other 2 books. Probably. It's definitely gonna be these 2 I'm starting with. Well, one I'm gonna start with, and the one will follow. Yeah. So that's my video, and oh god, half an hour, just over. Oh my god. yeah, so I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.